Some newsrooms are building community and revenue with in-person events. Connecting with people in person can be a great opportunity to interact more casually, connect face to face, and also collect information like email addresses so that you can invite people to interact with your products in a more targeted way. Events can include produced events like prominent live interviews or storytelling events where you invite community members to share their first person perspectives. Events can have paid sponsorships or ticket sales attached. You might host events that are focused more on socializing, inviting perhaps just subscribers or perhaps people who have specific interests in common to mingle with your staff and connect with each other. Consider interests like specific geographic areas, politics, craft beer, or education. Each time you interact with a source, especially one who doesn't talk regularly to the press, you have a chance to demonstrate what ethical, respectful encounters with journalists can look like. Be clear with sources about what they can expect during an interview and after the interview. What will you do with the information they share? What will you do if you have follow-up questions? Where will the information appear and in what format? Be sure to take time to ask if they have any questions and let them know how they can contact you. And then do take time to follow up with a link to a published story and invite their further questions and feedback. What do you most want people in your community to know about your newsroom and how they can connect with you? Collectively, your reporters interact with a lot of people every day. One way to make the most of those interactions is by creating a handout, laying out some basic information for your community about who you are and what you do, and inviting them to be in touch. Think about including things like, what are your coverage priorities? What's your mission? Can you sum those things up? Where can people learn more about your ethics and your values and your priorities? Can you include an easy to use URL? Do you value people's feedback and questions? And if so, how can they submit those? Who can they contact if they'd like to weigh in or if they have a question? Be sure to use language that your community uses, not journalism jargon. I prefer not asking people for their story ideas. Most people aren't going through life thinking up story ideas for journalists. Instead, think about including a question like, what do you wish the community knew more about? Or what would you like to see more conversation about? And then tell people how they can submit their answer to that. What opportunities do you offer for people to come to the newsroom and see what you do for themselves? You might give newsroom tours, and that can be really effective. Even a group of Cub Scouts can learn something and take some talking points home to their families. Do you invite the public to any newsroom meetings, maybe when you're brainstorming or assessing specific coverage? Do you host public conversations around current events? Maybe you host candidate debates, or maybe you host educational sessions on topics like the First Amendment or how to write a press release. Another idea is to host an advisory board or a readers board to help keep you in touch with diverse perspectives and educate the community about how you operate.